subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And you know, that story keeps on growing. What story? Of course, we have a new Doctor Who. Ncuti Gatwa is the Doctor. I'm actually getting really, really excited about it. I'm getting really, really warmed up about it, which we're going to be talking about today. I understand some are not so excited. Some are a little bit nervous. Look, it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal on a lot of levels. It's a big deal if you find Doctor Who a big deal, which, you know, sad little wankers like me do find Doctor Who a very big deal. I know, it's somewhat pathetic, but yes, I actually do find it a big deal. It's a big deal in fandom. It's a big news story to us. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time to unpack. I'm going to hopefully help you do that. We're going to look at some articles from just before the announcement. And it's just hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious that we're going to look at articles from post-announcement when we see people absolutely fawning. This is not going to be this video, right? Not going to be this video, but I do love the way that the entire Shomron era has been completely erased overnight. I mean, have you noticed a lot of people going, he's the first black actor cast as Doctor Who? And I understand, you know, I don't actually think that's the most interesting thing about him at all. But like, which is, again, this is like we are going to have to talk about. They've completely forgotten Joe Martin. Like, just like, everybody knows that wasn't Doctor Who. That was like fake Doctor Who. And I think this just makes it even more obvious, which, you know, I find a little bit funny. That's just me for you. I like laughing, especially at things I shouldn't. So, before we get into everything, can you hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button? That will all fan-dabby. Double dozy. Thank you very much. I am insanely grateful, and I am insanely grateful. If you could subscribe, that really, really, really helps. YouTube, let's just be fair, it's not a level playing field, and if you've got somewhat more of a traditionalist outlook, and yeah, the thing that really pisses me off is I was always a progressive until, you know, the left wing went insane. I was always interested in, like, new ways of doing things and new interesting. I'm like, that's kind of what I'm up for. That was, and then everything new turned out to be old and garbage. But but you know, if you're on the more conservative side of the you know, of the aisle, if you think, you know, generally speaking, if you have a pee-pee, you might be a little boy, right? You may be. If you think that, or you know, any other unmentionable thoughts, like, you know, if you think that, yeah, it might be a bit off stabbing a baby in the head as it's being born. You know, no, it's all fair. There shouldn't be any limits on abortion. If you think that's a bit off, right? They will not be kind to you, YouTube. You are not on a level playing field. So whatever you can do to help, that really does help. They really, really don't like me. I mean, like, I don't know how much longer this channel's got. Genuinely, I have no idea how much longer. I have a backup channel. I'm over on Rumble. Listen, if the good Lord is listening, and I believe the good Lord's listening all the time, because I am a crazy Bible thumper, right? If they're listening, and he's looking for something to smite in the upcoming apocalypse, which is clearly coming, right? If he's looking for something to smite, take out Google. Take out Google and YouTube, and then we can all go over to Rumble, and I'll be much happier, right? I understand taking out a world-changing multinational billion-dollar corporation to make one fat rabbi happy seems a little excessive, right? It seems a little bit excessive, but still, you know, yeah, if you don't ask, you don't get. but given that God doesn't smite Google, can you hit the like, share, and subscribe button? That'd be lovely. Comment, let me know what you think. Sign up to my Substack. Sign up to my paid Substack. Still haven't sent anything out to you, and I every day I feel guilty about it. Man, I'm telling you, I can't get anything done. Yesterday, I was not just running on spot, sprinting on spot to stand still. Like, just nothing worked. Oh my God, what a pain in the ass. Example of that, I wanted to record this video yesterday so I could get other work done today. No, right? I'm like so behind in everything. But anyway, I keep saying I'm going to do something for you, but then I don't. So, you know, there's that. But I really, I very much intend to do so. That's basically where I am. Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack, all those things are fan-dabby, double dozy. Let's start talking about the news, right? So I want to start off with this tweet from Nick Briggs. Now, I got a lot of respect for Nick Briggs. I genuinely do. I think he's a big talent. I really hope he gets to write some Doctor Who when in Russell Davis's new take on the show, right? I think he deserves it. I honestly think he has a place at the table, big time, right? And albeit because someone was saying, and I like his work generally speaking. We have extremely different worldviews. He is very much on the other side of the cultural aisle to me, and him, and I think along with Russell Davis and just everybody in entertainment, genuinely believes that racism is a huge issue, right? A huge issue in British society, and people reacted very badly to Shooter's casting because he's black, right? And they genuinely, and to be clear, I'm not saying nobody reacted badly because they don't like black people. I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist, right? I just don't think it's as prevalent as they say it is. But so let's read this tweet first, right? And I think it's a little bit curious. Tweeted my delight at casting Scooty, and I'm still, it's a few days in, and the NC saying shh, it's very hard for me. I can get the N to go shh, but the C, I keep going to want to go Scooty instead of Shooty, right? It's just like, look, I spent 50-something years having that be the association in my head. It's going to take me some time. Casting a Shooty as the new Doctor, and was shocked to my very core by some ghastly bigoted responses. I haven't seen any, right? I haven't seen what I would call bigoted responses. I've seen, I'll talk about what I've seen in a minute, but I haven't seen people go, oh, no! Oh, black people, ew! I just haven't seen it, right? Or anybody intimating that either. I suppose that makes me naive. Naturally, I won't retreat or give any more options, but I feel physically sick. Listen, again, if anybody has seen anything like this, can you send it to me? Because I really, genuinely haven't seen it. And I genuinely don't know somebody who doesn't like people because they're black. Honestly, I've encountered one person in my life that felt that way, right? And it was in the early 80s in a Greasy Spoon cafe. It was he was a young guy. I must have been, about 16, 17, about 15, 16. I was younger. I was in, 16, 17. Okay. I was trying to think. So yeah, 16, 17, 8 round there. And I was in this cafe, and thankfully the person didn't know me or my friend were Jewish. Yeah, I wasn't religious at the time. But they started going off about black people and how and we're all looking at them like it wasn't like, oh, I'm angry at you for your being. No, it was just weird, right? It's weird. It's like somebody saying, ugh, I can't stand spanners. Oh, spanners are the worst. Absolute worst. And you're like, what? What's wrong with a spanner? Right, and I hope spanner isn't a euphemism for any group of person. Oh my God, I'm in so much trouble. No, I don't think it is. Maybe love is the only way forward. I do agree, but here's the thing. Here's what I believe, and if you want to show me the receipts, I'm happy to be proved wrong, right? I'm not actually unhappy to be proved wrong, but I think there is a supply and demand issue for racism. There's a narrative that we live in an inherently racist society, and Western civilization is racist. It's a narrative that you're not, or at least built on racism, right? And it's a narrative that you are not in any way able to question. And if you do, oh my God, people get very upset with you. Now, again, Nick Briggs completely believes it. Russell Davis completely believe. They really, genuinely believe it. That they've never met anybody racist is the problem. So there's as I said, a supply and demand issue. So we've had other things become racism, which really aren't. These things that you can't quantify or in any way examine if it is racism. Things like unconscious bias. Unconscious bias, if I'm not conscious of it and you're not it's your suspicion, right? There's was the unconscious bias. That's a big one. There's dog whistles, right? Oh, it's a dog whistle. The big one was, and I think this shows the ridiculousness of this worldview. The big one was Then there was the thing in Charlottesville where you had, which I think more and more was a bit staged, where you had people were protesting the taking down of statues, and then people protesting taking down statues. That basically devolved into a oh, the cat just come down to say hello. The cat has found a way. If you can hear the cat meowing, he'll come in here in a minute. I said, Ninja, you want to come in here? You don't have to sit meow. You can come and say hello. He'll meow and he'll pad in a minute, hopefully. Although, hello, he's going out again. There you go. So he actually opens up the gate to the door downstairs, so lets the dog in as well. It's a bit of a strange time. Anyway, as I said, we have a supply and demand issue for racism, so we had to make up things that are racism, like dog was. Oh yeah, we're talking about Charlottesville. And then Donald Trump came out, who was president at the time, and in the actual speech he says, I condemn racism and white supremacy in every way. This is what, specifically the KKK, right? I mean, verbatim, that's what he said. And white supremacists hate Donald Trump. Oh my God, I wish you would, like, here's the real problem. That people who are of this worldview will only ever look at news sources from their worldview, which have been proved wrong over and over again. Like, for example, Mr. Floyd, George Floyd, who was died in 2020, sparking the Black Lives Matter riots. The narrative was he died because of police brutality, which is indeed what the coroner's report said, and the policemen involved were convicted of first-degree murder, I believe, which seems a bit strange to me, because that means he woke up with the intent to kill Mr. Floyd because he was black, right? But also, you probably don't know, he had a lethal dose of fentanyl in his system, right? We remember, was it Carl Rittenhouse during the Black Lives Matter riots? So you had a guy just released from an insane asylum, and I wish I was making it up. A serial paedophile says, I'm gonna kill you. I don't care if I go back to jail again. Chased him and tried to kill him. Got shot, and then the mob turned on this kid, Rittenhouse, and he shot 2 more people to save his bloody life. Which, again, the trial basically said. But he was labeled as a racist. He was labeled as a racist. Why? Because there's not enough racism to justify this narrative. We live in an intrinsically racist world, which people like Nick Briggs absolutely believe. I don't think they're being malicious. I think they absolutely believe it. So I would say like this. I would say that we are living in a long, dark shadow right now. The long, dark shadow of Jodie Wood and Chris Chibnall, which has weaponized identity for weaponized identity, and I think they were a toxic production team supported by a toxic fandom that was everything that Doctor Who hated. They were replete with a dislike of the unlike, and you know, so I think it's silly to pretend we weren't living in an age where identity was deeply weaponized, right? I think it's just ridiculous to make that make that argument. So I completely understand anybody being nervous at this casting, which it's the first time, not counting Joe Biden, which nobody's going to count, a black person has been cast as Doctor. I understand a lot of people have problems with that. In the headcanon. For me, it's really not a problem, right? In my headcanon, it's always been that one's physical appearance is defined by their state of mind and what they were thinking, and there's a lot going on. There's their psychological state at the moment of regeneration. So I just don't see it. I've never seen it being a problem for the Doctor to change skin color. Other people do. And I'm not going to call you racist if you do feel that way. Because you're not I mean, you might be, but you're probably not, right? You're probably not. So, love is the only way forward, Nick. And, another aside about spotting racism. Like Nick Briggs, again, love him. I love his work, buy his work, huge supporter of his. I really genuinely love him. I love Big Finish, okay? Why would I make that up? Why would I make that up? But You know, the biggest expression of genuine racism that's been seen in our lifetime in British culture was Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn fulfilled the dictionary and legal definition of a racist, of an anti-Semite, 100%, right? 100%, and he was completely supported by Nick Briggs. And anybody pointing out actually he was an anti-Semite said we're making it up because you know, because we're secret Tories. And honestly, I'm more Tory than I am Labour, but that's because Labour's a disaster. Oh, for God's sake. I mean, I like Jeremy Corbyn when I first saw him. He was speaking like a human being. I generally speaking like that, right? If you have a Labour, a Labour leader who speaks like a human being and seems to support the working classes, I might be there for you, baby, right? My essential worldview is I want to see that most people do the best they can, right? And right now that's under slightly under it's under the right wing side rather than the left wing side, but not because the right wing is awesome. It's because the left wing have lost their freaking minds, right? Absolutely lost their minds. So listen, if you're seeing any racism, please could you forward it to me? I would really genuinely love to see it. If you're somebody who believes that there was racism based around his casting, let me know. Come on the channel. I asked a question on a video 2 days ago. They got ratio to hell. Like, is it racist to think that the Doctor is a Caucasian character? Again, that's not my point of view, right? That's not my point. But it's also my point of view that I don't think everybody's a racist, right? And I think running to call people racist is as big a problem as being racist, right? I think it's another expression of bigotry, just as racist was. So Nick, I'm sorry for whatever you saw. I'm not discounting your whatever it was, but I haven't seen it, and I just don't believe in it, right? I just don't believe in it. Fine. So let's actually get into the casting of Scooty. Scooty! So, Shooty! See, that C messes me up every bloody time. But before we do that, let's look at just before the casting, right? So this is gorgeous. This is from, was it 3 or 4 days before, and I was going to cover this. I was going to cover this on Sunday, right? Because there was rumors that the new Doctor is being announced. I heard it was supposed to be announced on the 14th, right? Or the new Doctor is being announced this week. And then I made the thumbnail, right? And I had this really good silhouette of who with them, the next Doctor. I actually found a guy in a trench coat, right? And you use that silhouette, right? And then I had to remake it when Shooty was announced, right? So but this is really because I didn't think he was being announced. I didn't think anything was happening until after Whittaker's departure. Okay, so it did go that way. But let's see what they were saying just before, which is hilarious. Doctor Who revealing the new Doctor would be unfair to Jodie Whittaker. You know what's unfair to Jodie Whittaker? Casting her as the Doctor. Really, it's like casting me as the lead in Swan Lake. It's not going to be good, right? It'll actually probably be awesome. Probably be absolutely awesome, but not for the ways that it should be. So unfair. Let's read what this has to say. An early announcement that Jodie Whittaker's replacement in Doctor Who would be unfair to both her and the next actor who steps into the role. Seemed pretty fair to Shooty to me. He seems fine, right? I wouldn't worry about him. And one of the reasons I'm actually quite excited about Shooty in general is I've really looked closely at that first season of Chibnall Whittaker, and it's awful. I mean, the writing is just not professional in any. That's the kindest thing I can say about it. It is just garbage, absolute garbage. And yes, they cast Whittaker, and I think they weaponized identity to protect them in the ratings, and it fell completely. I think all that happened, right? Equally, I think Ralph C. Davis and Nick Briggs believe in identity politics. They believe black people are not represented and are a maligned subclass in society, even though we've lived in this society all our lives and neither of us have really met anybody who goes, oh, black. I mean, again, it was early 80s. It was like the early 80s, like that last time I actually had a conversation with somebody. It's still completely socially unacceptable and reprehensible, right? So that's why they got to say, oh, it's a dog whistle. Oh yeah. So the speech I mentioned about Trump, he said good people on both sides. Talking about the protesters, and he said, no, I condemn racism and white supremacy completely. They use that as a proof that he was racist. Oh, hello, Dave. My dog just came down. I guess the cat opened up the door for him. Fine. So, sorry, I just did a call back like 10 minutes earlier. So let's read this. This thing that, oh boy, did not age well. If Doctor Who was to reveal the new Doctor now, it would be unfair to the current incumbent, Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, I'm sorry. If she made any real impression on the role, it wouldn't be, right? I mean, they announced Capaldi, what, a year before Matt Smith left, and same thing with Matt Smith with David Tennant, right? They announce this stuff a lot early. If you're a good doctor, that's worked well in the role, right? If that's who you are, then you don't need to worry, right? You do not need to worry. But Whittaker, it wouldn't be fair to her. Whittaker's final episode of Doctor Who will premiere in fall 2022, with announcement regarding the new Doctor expected to appear in the interim month. Yet Doctor Who should wait to reveal the new Doctor until Whittaker's final episode airs, letting the infamous regeneration sequence speak for itself and reveal the new iteration of Doctor right there and then. They're not going to! I mean, really? How many times have we been told you that? They're not going to. English-born actress Jodie Whittaker has played the Doctor for 3 seasons now, 5 awful years. 3 seasons now, including several holiday specials. In a status quo-defying move, Whittaker became the first ever female Doctor and made the role wholly her own, despite criticism around surrounding her performance. Yeah, nobody else has done quite as awful as Jodie Whittaker, right? Nobody else has done quite as relentlessly terrible as Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, it's all her own, right? Yeah. No one's done this badly. That is true. After the final episode, the long-time showrunner, 5 years, I guess, Christian will be leaving the production office to make way for Doctor Who alum Russell Davies, signaling a whole show changes within the Doctor Who camp. Yes, it's going away. I mean, this garbage. If you're not looking at the screen, I just don't think I understand why that's an acting choice. Do you remember, by the way, before her first episode aired, when she was in Comic-Con, right? And they did a fashion show. How she strut like, oh yeah, and she was doesn't do that so much anymore, does she? Now she fell completely. As a result, Doctor Who getting a total production shake-up, which means there is why is that happening, by the way? Why are they getting complete It's going so well. Why would you shake up such incredible success? Yeah. As a result, Doctor Who is getting a total production shake-up, which means there is all the more reason to delay the announcement of the new Doctor until Whittaker's last episode airs. The Doctor's regeneration is a big moment in popular culture, and the speculation regarding who will be stepping into Jodie Whittaker's shoes is already rife. Well, it's super rife. Oh, now the cat's there as well. It's Yet, while it is fun to theorise and analyse the rumours, the extra attention given to Whittaker's replacement will overshadow the opportunity to celebrate her historic stint as the Doctor. Historically disastrous stint, right? And again, do you see how quickly she's been erased from history? She was never the Doctor, and I'm sorry. She was just, if you are the opposite of what you say you are not that thing, right? You're just not that thing. In this way, announcing Doctor would now supersede the retrospective of Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker's accomplishment. She's accomplishments would be that she destroyed Doctor Who and will quash building the anticipation of the 13th Doctor final episode in favour of a new Doctor. No one. Okay, we're just waiting for her to go. Right? Everybody hates her. She has not done well, right? She has not done... This is just reality. What do you want to say? She has not done well. In favour of the new actor. Well, that's happened. While it would be admittedly a radical move not to announce a new Doctor before Whittaker's final episode airs, and I wish they did that with David Tennant. I wish they didn't announce the departure, but it got leaked. You know, it's keeping things secret is pretty much impossible. It'll be a worthwhile one. Well, Jodie Whittaker's casting was officially announced in 2017. It was in June, right? It was a long time. It was before season 10 aired, right? And so it was yeah. Again, didn't detract Capaldi at all. If you're an actor who has filled out, if you're an actor who has filled out the role, then Whittaker is fine. Then you don't have to worry about your replacement being announced, right? Where was it? Was it Peter Capaldi's final speculation and criticism ran rampant before she even had a chance to make her mark on the show. Not really. You know, I don't know how real the backlash was against Jodie. If it's any, I think the backlash against Scooty is slightly more because Jodie's been awful, right? It's a reaction to how awful Jodie was. Ninja just came in. He's called Ninja because he's blind as a bat. Or blind as a cat in this case, and yet still survived. I was quite impressed with that. I should have called him Daredevil. It's my daughter's cat, so she wouldn't let me. This was an unfortunate yet predictable turn of events, and would likely happen this time round, eclipsing both Whittaker's final performance as the Doctor and marring the Doctor's new casting with controversy. No, none of that happened. Right, it didn't mar Capaldi's final. That was his best season, in my opinion. Didn't mar his final season. He wasn't overshadowed in any way because he's Peter Capaldi. He was a decent bloody actor. In this way, waiting to announce a new Doctor until they can perform with the show's context will give a new actor a chance to showcase the talents and give Whittaker a send-off she deserves on Doctor Who. Send-off she deserves on Doctor Who is to be shame-walked throughout town, right? If you've seen Kane with a shame, right? Although, I wouldn't want to see her naked. Maybe her and Chibnall be shame-walked throughout town. It's turned off. Additionally, waiting to reveal the next Doctor would only help create more anticipation for Whittaker's final episode. Not knowing who the new Doctor is before the final episode premieres will likely entice more viewers to watch the episode. It's gonna have a big viewership for the last 5 minutes. Okay, the collective response to the 13th Doctor send off and to Whittaker's replacement would provide more buzz around the show than one announcement in the middle of the summer ever could. Well, at the beginning of summer, it turned out. It cannot be overstated that Jodie Whittaker's fresh take on Doctor Who has changed the show's direction for seasons to come. We hope not, right? We hope not. I mean, like, it's been a disaster, right? It's been a disaster, right? Then Daisy, get out of there! Oh my God, she's in everything. She doesn't normally come down here. Daisy, come here. Anyway. Her turn as the 13th Doctor therefore deserves to be celebrated. It doesn't. It's been an utter failure. Yeah, are you going to celebrate the American withdrawal from Afghanistan? Are you going to celebrate the baby formula shortage? I mean, how creepy is that? Are you going to... I mean, like, no. You shouldn't celebrate failure. Daisy, get out of there! Okay. Leave that alone. I have to dog-proof my office. And now I hear something being knocked over there. That's great. That's great. I don't really have animals down there, as I said. Her turn on her turn on 13th therefore deserves to be celebrated in her final episode, be a crowning moment to say farewell to her interpretation of the Doctor, which destroyed the bloody show, you moron. As a result, Doctor Who should make a bold choice for both the benefit of the current Doctor, who's the only one you care about, and for whoever steps into the TARDIS next, you couldn't care less about them, to withhold the casting reveal until the final episode itself. So don't let anybody know, right? It's going to overshadow Jodie. It's going to overshadow Jodie. Oh no, that'll be terrible. And then a couple of days ago, we get this article as well, where they seem to change their mind. Sex education proves Scooty. Okay, Shooty, can you change your name to Scooty or get rid of the C? That would really make my life easier, mate. Really, genuinely make my life easier. Ncuti Gatwa is just what Doctor Who needs. Really? Because you just said it's the worst thing ever. That's strange. Interesting the difference a week makes, isn't it? Okay, let's see what it's going to say. Ncuti Gatwa has been cast as the 14th Doctor in Sex Education. Proves that he's the perfect choice for the new Rusty Davies era. Actually, I think he's got a good point. You know, I think his casting is all about bringing in a younger demographic that don't watch TV so much. Right? I think the way these things are going to be delivered is going to be different. I think social media is going to be a really important platform to tell these stories. But more importantly, I think his casting was designed to bring in a younger crowd, right? Which they all desperately want. And I'm really hoping Rusty Davies can turn Doctor Who into what they desperately want Star Trek to be. Like a new, vibrant franchise that appeals to a young, growing audience, right? That's the that's the holy grail, right? That's what they all really want to get to. And I think he's good casting to do that, right? I think the other rumor I heard for the role, which I believe was Fady, I can't remember his last name, the guy from Class, very, very, very hunky gentleman with washboard abs, kind of would have the same thing, bring in that younger crowd, right? That's what I think they want to do. And as long as they can keep it, Doctor Who. And I listen, I've seen everything Rusty Davies has done. He hasn't done crap like Chibnall. He knows how to write, which is why I am optimistic. Even though I think it's going to be progressive, I still think it's going to be good. I think Chris Eccleston season was progressive. I think it would, if it was aired today in the shadow of the Whittaker Chibnall debacle, disaster, misery, 5 years of misery, we will probably call that woke as well, right? We will probably get mad at Captain Jack, even though he's a great character. I think our job as fans who are like getting out of what could be termed as an abusive relationship, right? Like Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who was somewhat akin to an abusive relationship. I think we could just view things view it in its own context. We might not call it as progressive and woke as I think we might do. So sex education proves that Ncuti Gatwa is just what Doctor Who needs. Regeneration is the key to Doctor Who's longevity. Every time the Doctor regenerates, an opportunity for the show to reinvent itself. And one such moment is approaching swiftly. So yeah, I have thought about this. A really cool thing about Doctor Who, and I'm looking at all the Doctor action figures above my camera right here, right? Every one of them, it reinvents the character to be what that character was when Hartnell was it. He was this weird, mercurial scientist, naughty, out of the box, Edwardian adventurer figure, right? And just interpreted in the most hip, coolest way. So the minute he regenerated in Patrick Troughton, he got a Beatles haircut, and he was still that foppish professor, but he was so cutting-edge cool. You know what he is? He was always the coolest professor in campus. And then he had John Pertwee, who was James Bond. He was just like incredibly, incredibly hip. And then, fashions change. You get the Bohemian Tom Baker. Again, cutting edge, real cutting edge. You can say the same thing about Peter Davison. You can say the same thing about Colin Baker. How much more 80s could you get than Colin Bloody Baker and Nicola Bryan? You can say the same thing about Sylvester McCoy. Sylvester McCoy came in, just when media started to get more layered and complex. It was about 5 years after a major comic book revolution with things like Watchmen and Daredevil and Dark Knight, where we took two-dimensional heroes and we added a lot of darkness and depth to it. So again, really on the cutting edge. You could say the same thing with McGann. Certainly the same thing with Eccleston and Tennant and Matt Smith. Even Capaldi, right? Capaldi was the coolest professor on campus. That's eventually how they ended up playing him. Jodie Whittaker was never the coolest professor on campus. Could Shooty be that? Hopefully. I don't know. I really believe. I think representation certainly played a factor in it, because again, they all believe in this insanity. They completely believe in it. But I also think he came into the room and gave it an audition that blew them away. And I can't wait to see what that was, right? I think if you blow away an industry talent like Rusty Davis with something he wasn't expecting, I'm really excited by it, right? I'm really excited to see what it is. It might not be what you think of as Doctor Who. It might not be, right? I mean, if you Doctor Who goes up to Sylvester McCoy, cool. If you Doctor Who goes up to Capaldi, fine. It might not be it, right? I'm excited. Again, I've always sort of viewed myself as somewhat progressive, even though I'm a Bible-thumping conservative. And again, I'm saying conservative in the literal sense of the word rather than the political sense. So fine, let's see. Regenerating opportunity to reinvent itself. In one such moment is swiftly approaching. Jodie Whittaker's time as the 13th Doctor is coming to an end. I mean, honestly, she was very, very, very on the cutting edge of media. It's just the cutting edge of media was in the toilet at the time. So that's how we got it. And one such one, so do 30 Doctors coming in. The current showrunner Chris Jones departing as well. Rusty Davis, blah, blah, blah. Man responsible for 2005. We all know this. The BBC has announced that Ncuti Gatwa will play the 14th Doctor. No! And that's the video I think we're going to be dealing with on Friday, where they've all finally realized, wait a minute, he just said the next Doctor, not the 14th. They're all finally working it out. The 29-year-old actor will be one of the youngest actors to star on the show. Matt Smith was just 26 when cast in the role, while Gatwa was the same age as the fifth Doctor, Peter Davison, when he began his run. What Gatwa is already accomplished. That's true. He's a lot more accomplished than I thought, right? He's a BAFTA winner. Right? But here's the problem. We live in a day and age where people are rewarded for their identity rather than their ability. So I haven't seen his work. Although I'm encouraged by Rusty Davis being very, very blown away by his audition. I don't think that was BS. I think he was telling the truth with that. But Cameron's already accomplished. The announcement was made on the day the BAFTAs, where Gat was nominated for the third year running and actually presenting an award. It allowed delightful interviews in which he stood beside Rusty Davis. By the way, I love their relationship, right? It seems so lovely. I mean, it really seems very loving and paternal. Russell seems really like a proud father or proud grandfather to when Shooty talks about Doctor. I think it's real, right? Look, they're actors. They lie for a living. They make things up. I still think they're telling the truth. Maybe I'm just a naive fool, but I think I'm getting more excited by the day. That you're running, so by Rusty Davis, also nominated for It's a Sin, and fielded exciting questions from journalists, giving Doctor Who a much-needed boost. Yeah, again, did you notice how that Whittaker stank got washed away straight away? I will remind you, when The Mandalorian Season 1 happened, the Kathleen Kennedy stank got washed away straight away. She then went and pissed it all over Star Wars again, but good Doctor Who, good good entertainment will wash away the stank of incompetent wokeness every frickin' time. And I'm looking forward to happening. Got a warning role in Sex Education where he plays gay teenager named Eric Effiong proves he's just the kind of star Doctor Who needs. I tend to agree, right? It's not who I was expecting, and I think he'll bring in a younger crowd. But again, do you remember them saying, no, don't mention it, don't mention it? We mentioned it. There he plays a dynamic and enthusiastic character whose energy allows him to dominate any scene he's in. I guess I've got to watch it then. In the arse. It's no surprise that that Davis's initial statement explaining the casting suggests that Gatwa's energy that won him over. Shooty dazzled us, seized a hold of the Doctor and owned those TARDIS keys in seconds. I believe him, right? I think he's telling the truth. I really do, and I think it's going to be awesome, right? I think it's going to be awesome. It's an honor to work with him, and it's a hoot. That's always a good sign. I can't wait to get started. Amusingly, there is actually something quite Doctor-like about Eric. He has the same kind of racing scattershot mind coupled with a lack of social awareness. That's kind of like a new thing. I don't really like that. That means he often blurts out whatever's going through his head at any given moment. So I'm intrigued to see how this ties into Russell's Russell saying that he wants to make it scary again. I think it's going to be sexy and scary, right? Hopefully Gatwa will import some of those character traits to his portrayal of Doctor. I don't think so. I think he's got something completely new. I think it's something we haven't seen yet. Well, although, let's go wait and see, right? I mean, I did watch Casanova because I was convinced that David Tennant will be the next Doctor to see how we playing the role, which is essentially like Casanova. So I was like, the casting of Ncuti Gatwa as the 14th Doctor as the next Doctor, and indeed the success surrounding it, should best be seen as a statement of intent for Davis. Recent seasons of Doctor Who have been relatively highbrow. No, they haven't! Saying highbrow, it doesn't have incomprehensible plot holes that have, like, there's no logical reason at all. And the characterization is garbage as well. No, highbrow. Our focus on continuity designed to appeal to long-term fans. Long-term fans hate it, right? Long-term fans hate this show. Along the verse, marketing has appeared to be largely focused on retaining existing viewers. No, the marketing's been awful. I mean, listen, along with the writing, the characterization, the plotting, the general focus of the show, also the marketing has been terrible. And I think marketing for Russell Davies is going to be awesome. And I have to say, I think when November hits, we're going to get a slew of stuff in places where you wouldn't expect. And I really think it's going to be going somewhere very, very different. And as appeal to be largely focusing, okay, he's trying to explain why it's hemorrhage viewers. It's hemorrhage viewers for several reasons, mainly because it was shit. I mean, that's the reason people don't watch something, because it's boring shit, right? That was reason number one. But the reason it was boring shit is because it's completely unconnected from the audience that they're trying to connect to, right? They're presenting this world that is, they say the world is racist. We got to be super anti-racist to counterbalance the racism, and it's playing to people who aren't racist. They go it's just because they all they think about is racism, biggity. Most people don't think about that all the time, and are not bigoted, right? Especially the British. I hate to tell you, I think British. I honestly, I would say his casting as a Rwandan Scottish person is something very, very British about it. I think Britain is a very welcoming country, right? I think Britain is a country that welcomes in other cultures and has done. Again, I grew up in the 80s, right? I grew up in the 80s, and it was always been 80s London, which was always deeply multicultural. So I think there's something very. I think this works in terms of like that cool professor, that Edwardian cool professor. I think he could fill that role in 2022, when I don't think Whittaker ever could. So anyway, they're trying to explain why nobody watches this garbage. But Gatwa's hugely successful sex education is a major part in the streaming giant's pitch for Generation Z viewers. Yes, finally we agree on something. Alongside hits like Instagram is the most popular social media network for Generation Z. Do you think they're going to be putting out Doctor Who Adventures on Instagram? I think they might. Right? I think they might use Instagram as a platform. Maybe they'll use Spotify. Who knows what they're going to do, right? So Instagram, where he has 2.6 million followers, which he will bring to the show. I think he will. This will even incorporate into the announcement itself, because Gatwa teased casting on Instagram just an hour before it became official. The BBC's Twitter account interacted with social media influencers to boost the message, but one joke that they had to watch that Blue Box show now, and the official Twitter account was speedily updated to the title now reads the official home of that Blue Box show now on Twitter. Yes, they're going to watch that Blue Box show now, but here's the difference about people only coming in to watch Jodie Whittaker on her first episode. I think they're going to see something good. I think they're going to see something that entertains them. I think they're going to see something that excites them, right? And I think they're going to stay. I think they're going to stay for the next episode. I think they're going to tell their friends. I think Doctor Who is about to become huge. And listen, I was there in the wilderness years in the 90s when there was no Doctor Who, and I was blown away in 2005 when it became as huge as it is. I think it's going to be bigger than 2005. I really do. I think it's going to be bigger than 2005. Rosalie Davis has a vision for the show's future, and the casting of I was going to say Scooty, Ncuti Gatwa. It's only been a few days. In my defense, Ncuti Gatwa makes it clear that it is one in which the show doesn't focus on hardcore fans anymore. Yes, that's a big factor, right? He wants Doctor Who to be as dazzling as Gatwa himself, bold and confident, drawing in a new generation of viewers. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Screen Rant. Like, honestly, is there not a sign that we are heading to a messianic age? Yeah, we're going to beat our swords into plowshares, because I'm agreeing with Screen Rant right here. He pulled it off in 2005 when he relaunched Doctor Who for the first time. And this sex education-centric casting decision suggests he's about to do it all again. I super agree. Look, we'll just have a quick look at a couple of other headlines so we can get a vibe of what's going on over on the where was this? It was the Telegraph. I'll probably go over this on a live stream on Thursday. The choice of Ncuti Gatwa proves BBC is trying to please has given up trying to please legacy Doctor Who fans. Yes, and I think that's really exciting. I think that's why Doctor Who really worked in 2005. And as a legacy Doctor Who fan, I'm fine with that. And you know, it's when I say they're giving up trying to please legacy Doctor Who fans, they really are going to please legacy Doctor Who fans. This was one after the casting of Jodie Whittaker failed to bring in viewers, after the casting of Joe Martin failed to bring in viewers, after all the big revelations failed to bring in viewers, they clearly, as we've seen in this video, retreated to the defense of, oh no, we're just trying to appeal to the legacy bit. No, they've given up on when they say legacy Doctor Who fans, they're talking about Chris Chibnall. They're talking about Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. Yes, they've given up on Chris Chibnall's idiotic Doctor Who. And over here in The Guardian, again, I might go over this on Thursday, why Ncuti Gatwa is an inspired choice for Doctor Who fans. So you see, you now know what it's like to be Jewish. Why do you know what it's like to be Jewish? We have an expression I wasn't saying Judaism. Jews have an expression, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. 2 Jews, 3 opinions. I think that's fair enough. You might not be on board, okay? I just think we have a lot to be optimistic about. My bias is optimism. I have an optimism bias, but I do think we got a lot to be optimistic about. I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be bold. I think it's going to be fresh. I think it's going to be everything that Rosalie Davis said it's going to be. It might not be what you like. It might not be what we think of Doctor Who, but I think one thing it's going to be very, 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 very successful, right? Very, very, very successful. Which, you know, I remember 2005 and 6. 2005 to 2015. It was kind of nice not to be like, oh look, that guy watches Doctor Who. Why does he do that? He looks like a bit of a loser, right? Which was basically life throughout school, right? I think Doctor Who's going to be super, super cool again, and I'm hoping it'll actually do some good, right? I'm hoping that, you know, the layered, nuanced, intelligent writing of Rosalie Davis seeps through into the Generation Zers who have we got the stupidest Generation Zers possible with Whittaker, because they're the people who are stupid people like identity politics, which is the only thing that Whittaker's Doctor Who really offers. There's stupid people like identity politics, but I think we're going to get smart people again. And do you remember when Doctor Who used to be loved by smart people? Do you remember that? I think that's what we got to look forward to. A popular Doctor Who, an exciting Doctor Who, a fresh Doctor Who, a bold Doctor Who, right? A bold Doctor Who, a Doctor Who for smart people. Once again, I can. Well, that is my hope. That's my hope and my dream for today. I hope it's your hope and dream hope and dream as well. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.